Beautiful Sunday afternoon to you. Listening to Emirate 98.5 FM. Ilori. Yes, the voice of the people. Welcome. This is the Sports Parliament right here on your number one radio station, Emirate 98.5 FM. Tosh Michaels is my name, the anointed voice on radio, the apostle, always bringing you the gospel according to sense sport. And of course, this is the Parliament where we discuss pressing sport issues affecting the states and the country with the aim of providing a lasting solution for positive change. Joining me today on the show is a distinguished Olympian and a respected sport administrator. He represented Nigeria in the men's 100 meters at the 1980 Moscow Olympics, and of course Captain Team Nigeria's dedication to that games, a season broadcaster, former general manager of the Nigerian broadcast, former general manager of the Nigerian Television Authority, I beg your pardon, and former director of sports at Kwara State. No other person than Malam Hamid Adio.
Thank you very much, Tosh. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, good morning, sir. You're looking so sweet this morning.
Yeah, it's the special grace of God.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
All right, first of all, let's say congratulations to the Super Eagles. They progressed to the semi-finals of the African Cup of Nations. How impressed were you with their performance yesterday?
Wow, absolutely impressed. Very, very impressed. The Super Eagles were just super. They were flowing, they were mobile, they were tactical, they were technical, they were physical, and above all, they pushing the 2 goals that we needed to proceed to the semi-finals of the championship against a very highly rated Algerian national team, the Desert Foxes. And I just wrote in one of my one of the things I do write on that the Desert Foxes were just sent, to the Kalahari deserts, the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Yeah, looking at the Super Eagles, do you think they have enough arsenals to go past the Moroccans, the hosts? Last time in Cote d'Ivoire, we were stopped by the hosts who emerged winners. Do you think we have what it takes to go past the Moroccans and go as far as winning the 4th title?
Yeah, the Moroccans, you may say, they may have some advantage. And what advantage do you think they will have? Home support, yes, is going to be very massive as part of the advantages they will have, on the D-Day, because the North Africans and football, they will all troop to the stadium to go and watch, in large numbers. But with the present crop of Super Eagles that we have that are on fire, I don't think they will be intimidated by the crowd. And the mere physicality of our boys, the mere technical know-how of our boys, and the cohesion that is being formed in the team now will speak volumes, at the end of the day. After all, it's 11 against 11.
11 against 11, of course. The studio line is 07056902827, 09031917355. That's the studio line, just in case you would want to, be part of the show. It is the Sport Parliament right here on Emirate 98.5 FM. Yes, Tosh Michaels is my name, and of course the legend is in the building, and this is where we'll, discuss pertinent issues, making the rounds, or the legend. Yeah, the topic for discussion today is us looking at Kwara sports in the last year, and what to expect in 2026. So I want to ask, how would you assess the general state of Kwara sports in 2025? Would you say it was a successful year, particularly with Kwara United Federations Cup triumph? Would you say it was a success for Kwara?
Yeah, there's no way you mention the success of Kwara Sports without mentioning the input of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kwara State, who made no pretensions at all. That from the time he came into office in 2019, that he meant business, and he met everything in a very solid state, talking about infrastructure, talking about motivation, talking about, even the disposition of the athletes, themselves. And so he went straight to work. And the first thing he did, I could remember, let me first of all even talk about the Otogo revolution that brought in, that this administration. People were tired and sick of what was, operating before, and they wanted a paradigm shift, very positive one for that matter, and the governor did not waste time in bringing that into focus. The first thing he did was to make sure that because he knows that the generality of Kwarans, they like football. What he did was to buy off, the slot of Delta Force, because at the time he came in, Kwara United was about going on relegation, to division, to this the second tier, of the national league. Yeah. So after buying that slot, we came up again, and he put up a management of the United led by Kumbi Tutuloye, and for 6 years running, it has been fantastic, and a series of successes, within the lifetime of this administration. Kwara United, had represented Nigeria, in the CAF Confederations Cup twice. And the icing on the cake, of course, was that elusive, Federations Cup that we won, late last year. That Federation Cup is particularly very important to all Kwarans, because that's what we have been searching for the past 49 years through Ayusalam Rocks, and we were not able to get it. And bingo, the Kwara United guys were able to, to get that trophy to Kwara State here. And what makes it particularly pleasing to me was that I'm exceedingly very happy that it happened in my lifetime, because I remember that from 49 years ago, that was when I was, a first year student in the University of Lagos. All of us in the university trekked from Akoka to the National Stadium in Lagos, where that match was played between Rangers International and Ayusalam Rocks. All Kwara students in the university. We trekked there to go and watch the match. And when we were beaten 2-0 by Rangers International, we cried from the stadium back to the campus. So imagine 49 years later, this same me, witnessing in the same Lagos, is stationed in which Kwara State beat, their opponent, to win that trophy. It's a remarkable feat.
Yeah, so I know some students as well from universities around the idea also trooped into support Kwara United, in that emphatic. It wasn't emphatic, but record-breaking victory against Abakaliki AFC in that final. We're still talking Kwara Sports. I asked, how was you talked about now football. Away from football,
maybe I was taken away by by the referee created by our winning the trophy. So the governor, apart from football, laid down a very solid foundation for sport development, infrastructure.
You can see what is
very, very important. It's key. That is the engine room through which you can perform very well. Absolutely. If the infrastructure is not there, the athletes will be training in futility, and the exercise will be in futility. They will not be able to do anything appreciable. So serious, of infrastructures were erected. Talking about 8 courts, a squash. Talking about the volleyball, 4 courts.
The main bowl being renovated as well.
The main bowl is presently being renovated under the supervision of the FA chairman. That is Idris Abdullahi Turaya, and that place is wearing a good look now. Absolutely. In fact, the president of the Football Federation came visiting, and he marveled. He was surprised that such remarkable development had taken place in the Rashidi Yakini main bowl. And he even offered, because I personally interviewed him, and he even offered that after the completion of the renovation, he will come back again, he will revisit, and after that he will make sure that some CAF matches, are played here. Or not, sorry, that the Super Eagles or some national team, will come here, to train in Ilori. That is to tell you what the governor has invested in sports development, and all these, innovations, bringing in and construction of new facilities, they have their added value, because our athletes have started to perform, very well, especially in the youth games as well as the National Sports, Festival.
Yeah, talking about the National Sports Festival, the Sports Festival in Ogun State, Team Kwara finished 14th on the medals table with a total of 29 medals, 6 gold medals, 11 silver, 12 bronze. Would you describe this as being satisfactory or performance, or do you think team could have even done better, perhaps a top 5 finish in the medal table?
Well, if you compare that with what we have been, doing before, you will see that at least it's a little bit up the mark. But well, they could have done better. But at least they have started somewhere, and I believe that they would, capitalize on what has happened. They will have noticed some of the mistakes that they committed. They will have noticed some of the loopholes, and by the time we go in for the next competition, I think we'll be up the ladder.
The next sport festival comes up later this year in Enugu. It takes center stage. What would you advise that we do, differently in terms of trying to compete with the big boys, Delta State, Bayelsa, Rivers, who are proving to be dominant in when it comes to sport festival? What should be done differently?
I think what we should do differently is that athletes will not just be training without testing their mettle. There should be internal competitions, frequent ones for that matter, that will test the capabilities of these athletes before the big ones. Because if you just train, no barometer, for measuring, the level of improvement, it will not be a right step in the right direction. They should not just be plunged into competitions like that without adequate preparation, training and retraining. Then within training and retraining, there should be constant competitions to be able to test how far they've gone. Because these other states, they are not sleeping. Then another thing we need to do is to do everything possible to make sure that we retain our star athletes. Because
very important.
Yes, we have to retain them, because in this era of coaching, in this era of inducing athletes with monetary benefits,
but how do you retain them? Because some of these athletes, they want money, they want to be taken care of, they want basic needs. But sometimes it feels that they don't get all those stuff right here, and that's why they go out to go represent Delta and all that. How do we change all of this narrative and try to keep these athletes in the state?
Yeah, I just mentioned it. We need to motivate them. We need to encourage them. We need to maybe up, the ante a little bit in terms of remuneration. And with this governor that I know, if the Sports Commission today writes a memo to the governor and makes him to understand, the need for these athletes to be retained. The governor is somebody who really loves, sports. Is somebody who really wants Kwara State to progress, and I'm very, very sure that he would accede to their request. Then another thing, they need to, the athletes, some of them who are in school need to be encouraged. If by way of being given scholarship, yes, it's not too much. You encourage them to retain them. And I know that this governor, is somebody who has done a lot, even apart from sports, in the area of education too. You see what Kwara State is doing in both nationally and internationally in schools debates. You're winning, laurels all over the place, because the government believes that education and sports, should go hand in hand. Yeah. And since most of these athletes who are students belong to schools, then there should be working synergy between the Kwara State Sports Commission and the Kwara State Ministry of Education, to be able to get these athletes to perform to the optimal. Because for me, I believe that if a student is very good in education. If he's educated, he will become, he will become super. If he has talent in sports and is able to exhibit that talent, he will become a star. But the situation in which he is able to combine both education and sports, he becomes a superstar.
Absolutely. In case I just joining, this is Emirate 98.5 FM. It is the Sports Parliament right here. Good morning, Addition. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm fine.
How you doing? You're looking good.
Thank you very much.
All right. Welcome. You've talked about what His Excellency has done in terms of building infrastructure. The indoor sport recently. Being innovated. It has been. You saw badminton president. Coming to inspect it, and Kwara State haven't. There was a time in 2022 where we talk about the Kwara Festival, but somehow it didn't hold. How do we make use of this facility that has been provided by His Excellency to keep this talent going, nurture them, and then get the best out of this talent in the state?
Let me first commend His Excellency for taking that bold initiative, to renovate what I call then the moribund, sports, indoor sports hall in Kwara State. What has been provided in that facility right now, when we visited with the Badminton Federation President, from Obi, man, that is awesome. It was fantastic, beautiful, very, very massive, development in terms of the facilities. And the President himself made a remark that he has traveled around, the globe, in Nigeria too, in Africa and other places, that there's hardly any, other places that could beat, that indoor sports hall with the quantum of equipment and the facilities we have there. So what are we waiting for? And I particularly felt very happy when the Badminton Federation President came calling, because this had been my passionate appeals to Federation President, that since that particular indoor sports hall has been put back into shape, they should bring all their national competitions to Ilorin here. Kwara State is the place to be.
Absolutely,
it's the place to be.
I was actually going towards that. I was asking that we have facilities now. You look at the table tennis court, fantastic. You look at the squash courts. You look at the indoor sport right now. Even the main bowl. How do we attract competitions? Table tennis, volleyball, basketball. How do we attract all these kind of competitions? You say so. We'll make use of these facilities.
It's very simple, absolutely simple. You know why I said that? On my own, I had interacted with some federation presidents.
Okay.
And we kept talking. I said, look, come to Ilorin, come and see what we have in Ilorin. You want to talk of squash? You want to talk of table tennis? You want to talk of volleyball? You want to talk of the indoor sports hall? We have a combination of
facilities are massive.
The facilities are massive. So come. The only question they asked me, Hamid, you're talking about all these facilities. Some of them that have been put into shape, have they been inaugurated? If they are not inaugurated, how do we get information that they are ready, for use? So I think the ball will still go back to the table of the Kwara State Sports Commission to get the places inaugurated. Yes,
because the indoor sport is ready.
Yes, this what the federation presidents are waiting for. Some of them that I talked to.
Because once you inaugurate it, you are telling us that it's ready for use.
They are ready for use. That's it.
Exactly.
Atanda Musa table tennis hall is there. Massive place. Fantastic equipment.
And nothing is happening.
Fantastic equipment. So once you get this federation president, alerted through, our, commissioning the place, what does commissioning? What does it necessitate? Very little thing. Just, let the whole world know that these places are ready for use. Simple. And you will see them coming in droves, bringing their competitions down, to Kwara State. After all, in the past, Kwara State has hosted many international competitions. I remember when I was commissioner for youth and sports in Kwara, we hosted the African volleyball championship here in Ilorin. So in Ilorin too, the indoor sports hall hosted World Military Games this season and several other international competitions. Even as at that time, now that the place is being renovated and the place is in top shape,
because to go. Some of this federation they are looking for where to host their events. Sometimes basketball used to be hosted in at the Conference Stadium in Kogi, but now that is an eyesore. They are looking most times now they take it down to Port Harcourt. We have the indoor sports hall right now. I think we can also the basketball league. We can host all of this competition in the state. I think it's the right call. Let's get that place inaugurated and put it in use.
Yeah, you talk about basketball. If today somebody like Colonel Amedu is being contacted, I'm sure what he did last year, he will be very willing to do it again. Now that the place is renovated. I mean, talking about the indoor sports hall. That is the Milo Basketball Championship.
Yeah. There was a time they were playing it at University of Ilorin, the basketball. Okay, that was volleyball. They took it as far as University of Ilorin. That was 2022-2023. And now that we have the indoor sport back, I think it's an opportunity to make it use. And of course, also what some of this events we attract is people's the sellers, hotels.
There will be multiplier effect on that now. The value chain is so long. Those people selling and buying. At the stadium, you'll be able to make money. I mean, once they make money, it will be very easy to even pay their rent. To the Kwara State government.
Absolutely.
So,
the legend, there's a pressing issue. Some of this sport association. It seems to be in an exile. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I think they've been dissolved in the last 3 months, and most of them are eager that they should see action back again, and they are waiting for reconstitution. Once they are reconstituted, I think they are good to go.
Talking about dissolving the board. When the news came, that was practically the second time I was hearing about the board being dissolved. But in active sense, there wasn't any board in place, so I was surprised what board were being dissolved.
You can't say there wasn't any board in place. There was,
but not active.
Maybe that one is subjective. That one is subjective. But I want to believe that the various associations are ready to see action, once again. When we even mentioned about something about sport development, we should not concentrate our effort alone or our gaze alone on what the governor has done inside the stadium. There are certain things he has done even outside the stadium. Go to the baseball park in Adewale. You will know that place has been put into good use and in good shape. In fact, when Money Mark hosted our competition in the last time, I met with some expatriates who came, and with my interaction with them, they told me that that park is one of the best in Africa.
Absolutely.
If it is very well maintained, it will go places. So then we talk about the Lorry Golf Club. Didi Allen will tell you, the assistance rendered by the government, in making sure that place is put in, is put in tip-top, position. So the investment in sports is massive, and the only way we can repay this governor is for us to continue to do very well, in sports in Kwara State, knowing fully well that sports appeals to the youth, and the youth in our society today constitute over 70%. If we are able to mobilize them and we take good care of them, then it's a step in the right direction, because it is the belief that the youth you fail to take care of today will constitute the problem of our society tomorrow.
Still the sport parliament right here on Emirate 98.5 FM. 07056902827 09031917355. The magic numbers for you to join in the conversation right here. Of course, we have the legend in the building, former athlete, former broadcaster. We don't resign, we don't retire. He's a broadcaster. Yeah, of course, that's why he's here. Former athletes, team captain to the 1980 Olympics in Moscow. Of course, the legendary Emirate, you're right in the building. Dissecting issues right here. Of course, let's look at 2026. What should we expect in sport, Kwara State?
2026 must be a year of achievement, for us.
How do we achieve?
Very good. Let me begin with Kwara United.
Okay.
Kwara United has every opportunity now to see even better what they did in the past. The stadium, the playing pitch is being renovated. The turf is fine. Most of these coaches and some top officials from other teams that came to us here to visit us in Ilorin here, they told me personally that we have one of the best, in the country. So there is no need. I mean, there is nothing stopping Kwara United, from doing very well. And I believe in the leadership of Kumbiti Tuloye. He's been very forthright. He's been, very, very resourceful, and I want to believe that he will motivate, these boys, to greater heights. So we're looking forward to Kwara United doing very well. Then other sports, athletics has to come up, and to come up very strong. And talking about other sports, I want to believe that the Sports Commission would, in the attempt to revive school sports, which they did last year, they should be able to work harder, because up till now we have not been able to see the final of that competition. And once we are able to, pool, these resources together, especially from the schools, that's where people like us were discovered. I failed to mention what the governor has done again. The stadium in Lafiagi, the one in Offa being renovated, is all in the bid to make sure that we come tops, in Kwara State. So the governor has thrown it back to us that I've given you what you need. It is now left for you to bring results. And these are the ways we can bring, those results. That working synergy, like I said before, between the Sports Commission and the Ministry of Education must have to be intensified, because the students belong to Ministry of Education.
Of course, yeah.
And this governor the man is something else. So I've even forgotten to tell you that, talking about school sports, apart from what he has done in the stadium, he distributed sporting equipment to various schools, in Kwara State. Go and check the records. Table tennis, tables, equipment and other things like that. And so these are just motivations. These are things that will motivate, athletes from doing, to do very well. So I want to believe that with the quantum of, facilities we have, and with the encouragement being given by the Kwara State government, Kwara State sports in 2026 must be with a difference.
Yes, Kwara State Sport in 2026 must be with a difference. The words of that legend right there. Quickly, let's go take a breather. Let's go for a short musical break and let the legend relax and catch his breath. I will be right back. I still the Sports Parliament right here on Emirate and 98.5 FM. Tosh Michaels is my name. Additional still in the building. You are going to talk about Super Eagles later. All right, do not go nowhere. The show continues after this short timeout.
If you're not spending money, go. Anything one more don't share doggy. Misplaced priority. Can be broke, can be lazy. I said to bad go I call money. I see. My money be like go money. See now everything I go. Bitch better have my money. Go money. Bitch better have my money. I don't touch money, I like them. Dollar signs, kilo convoys, broker, cash down, no instrumental, no minus with the add up, colori later, hands up. On the high sea, my money be like go money. See now everything I go, bitch better have my money. Go my day, bitch better have my money. Bitch better have my money. Go my day, bitch better have my money. anything I go. Bitch better have my money. 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 Attention, attention, if you're not spending money, go.
Adios. Yeah.
1 money, 2 money, 3. It don't break your lemons. Break your lemons. Come they move like a disco. One nick in my lolata. Happy boss, happy actor. So never give me ball under. Oh yeah, come take a picture. Right, you're young buyer. Oh yeah, follow my instruction. Can't they smoke cannabis? Doctor say make a pop on a this. Make me fly like say I'm Aladdin. Come bring some kind melodies. I'm a messy self, no do pass this. So many things inside of my jeans. I swear down the beatings. Like LMS. Can't they move like a disco? One nick in my lolata. Happy boss, happy actor. So never give me ball under.
All right, welcome back to the show, the Sport Parliament, right here on Emirate 98.5 FM, the voice of the people. Yes, we are your voice. All right, Tosh Michaels is my name, the anointed voice of radio, the apostle always bringing you the gospel according to Sport, the legend Amidadio, Malam Amidadio, right in the building, of course, Additional. Let me quickly go to Additional. We saw Nigerian game yesterday. How impressed were you with that one yesterday?
I was actually amazed with the performance of the boys yesterday because they come into the game with massive determination, setting Algeria apart, not allowing them to do anything in the game because throughout the whole 90 minutes, Algeria didn't get a shot on target. That's how determined the boys are. They are fighting for the second ball. They are eager to play and eager to. We saw the numbers of chances they missed in the first half. That shows how impressed they are, and that shows how impactful the team is in order to get the win in this tournament. And I believe with the performance so far since the start of this competition, I believe Nigeria will definitely get the AFCON title and will defeat Morocco in the semi-finals.
Egypt knocked out the reigning champion Ivory Coast. Interesting game that was, 5-goal thriller.
Yeah. That game was this thing. Egypt capitalized on Cote d'Ivoire mistakes in the first half, to get that early goal, which is very, very important, and they are able to get comfortable in the game as early as possible in order to get past Cote d'Ivoire. We can see later on in the game, Cote d'Ivoire was fighting back to get back into the game, but the goals was much, and Egypt are very comfortable and determined to get that win. And I believe it will be a very tough one for in the semi-finals between Senegal and Egypt.
Yeah, a very tough one between Senegal and Egypt. Mane, Salah, right there. Nigeria will take on Morocco in that semi-final Wednesday, while Egypt will take on Senegal. African Cup of Nations 2025, the 35th edition, right there. Of course, the legend. We're still talking sport development in Kwara State. What should be done, 2026. In Kwara State right now, it seems like it's just football. Kwara United, ABS, Ilori FC, and of course all the grassroots teams in the state. We've not really seen anything happening in volleyball, in basketball. 2022 Kwara Falcons were champions. They represented Nigeria at the African Basketball Championship bar. And just some 2 years down the line, we are not hearing anything about basketball. What's really, you've highlighted it, but I want to know what's really the problem with other sports aside football, because right now we want to say that okay, football is thriving. Quite United, Federations Cup champions, they are doing well, mid-table right now in the MPFL standing. What should be done differently? What should the Sport Commission do? What should key stakeholders do in each of these sports? Volleyball, athletics, tennis. What should we do? To see that the sports gets back to life in Kwara State.
Just reinject life back into them. Reinject life back into them, and the only way you can reinject life back into them is to make sure that constantly, apart from training, to make sure that they are exposed to competitions. Once they are exposed to competition, local competitions, trial matches and whatever, before they go for the big ones. But if they are just there being very sedentary, and it will not be a step in the right direction. And talk about athletics. Kwara used to produce fantastic athletes before. I don't know why athletics is dying a natural death. They need to be reawakened. Most of these sports need to be reawakened. And the starting point should be, with the Sports Commission.
Sometimes people are talking about tech ball, Kwara used to have the number 1, number 2 tech ball players in the state. Now they've gone representing Abia State, and tech ball in the state looks nothing to write home about right now.
That's why I talk about motivation, because tech ball has a lot of promise. Let me say, had a lot of promise. In Kwara State before the unfortunate incident in which one could not even explain what exactly happened, and our star players, just started representing other states, and one of them now is not touring the whole world. Yeah, and this guy has the capability of reigning, just like Eniola Mubola is doing, in badminton. And that would have been another exports from Kwara State to the world. But unfortunately, something happened, snapped, somewhere. And I think there should be a resurgence, of that. But because that particular sport is very promising.
What should be our priority in 2026?
Our priority is to just like I said, make maximum use of the facilities that have been provided, encourage our athletes, motivate them. Some of them who are in schools, if you can advocate for the situation in which they be giving scholarships, fine. It's not too much. Just motivate. Just make sure they are motivated. They are encouraged. To do the best. For Kwara, and we have many of them, very many of them, who are willing to represent Kwara and do Kwara proud.
Aside from the athletes themselves, let's talk about the coaches. Are they well motivated? Are they well equipped, to train the athletes themselves?
Well, training the athletes requires a lot of refresher courses by the coaches. They need to update, their knowledge, in the various sports that they coach. Because sport is not a sedentary thing. Sport is not static. It's very dynamic. Even the rules keep on changing, from time to time. So coaches must be abreast, of these rules. They must have, a grip, of the rules. So if tomorrow I see 10 or 15 Kwara State coaches going to the NIS to up their knowledge, in the various sports that they coach, that will be a step in the right direction. Human capital development is very important. I know that the Sports Commission has been trying in that aspect, because I have seen documents in which some of their coaches have gone, on courses, but it's never too much.
Is the state, or let me say the Sport Commission responsible, in equipping the coaches, or should they be responsible in equipping the coaches?
No, equipment like what do you mean by equipping the coaches?
Like you talk about NIS trying to understand the new techniques, technology, whatever. Is the state sport commission, are they responsible in trying to equip these coaches to the modern standard, or it is the coaches themselves that should be saddled with the responsibility of equipping themselves?
It's a two-way thing. The first is the sports commission has responsibility for human capital development.
Okay,
that is where they come in.
Okay,
developing the coaches, sending them to on courses. Then the coaches on their own must make effort to ensure that they perform better through getting exposure to international coaching opportunities. You don't need to be physically in a classroom to get some of these. There be some online coaches that you can, coaching courses that you can undergo that will better your lot. But I think we need it. That aspect of human capital development is very important. It's very key, because the landscape of sports is changing, by the day, and whoever is in that industry must have to follow, what the landscape is. Otherwise, you'll be left behind.
What do you want to see in 2026? What do you want to see personally now? What do you want to see in the sports sector and be like, okay, I'm satisfied what has happened? What kind of success do you want to see Kwara State achieve in this year, in 2026, and then you will be satisfied of what they've achieved?
Improved performance in our sports across board. That's what I want to see. There's no way one should be expecting an El Dorado. No, it's not possible. But it starts from somewhere. Once there's a building block and the improvement is is appreciable, then we know that at least we have moved from one step to another. Then we continue.
Let's talk about Kwara United. Federations Cup champions last year. Sadly, we've crashed out from the CAF Confederations Cup. The management has done well, no doubt. This season, we've seen a new coach, come in, Coach Shafat Suleiman. What should be done? The second half of the season begins on Wednesday, where they take on Bender Insurance. What should be done differently? What would be your advice to the management of the club? In terms of seeing the club overturned. It wasn't a good first half for Kwara United. What should be done differently in the second stanza?
I just wrote this morning, that the Kwara United players should take a lesson from what the Super Eagles are doing right now in Morocco. The Super Eagles are on fire. They should take a lesson from what they are doing, the individual and collective brilliance of the Super Eagles. Take a look back at the first stanza of the league, where they've done, where they've gone wrong, correct all the mistakes within the period, and come back smoking in the second stanza. And in fact, I gave them an update task, and that task is that they should revenge that defeat they considered to Bender Insurance, towards the tail end, of the first stanza of the league, because that will be the first litmus test that they will have on the 14th or thereabout when they play in Ilori here, and that match is winnable. It's
winnable, of course. Yeah. But the thing is, the team where they trained, sometimes they struggle to even train the main bowl. There have been scenarios where they've been asked that not to train. I think there should be there should be a synergy between Kwara United and management of the main bowl. This is where the club plays its home games. If you don't have a feel of your home turf, how well do you expect them to perform? I think there should be a change. Maybe 2 times you train before your match on the main bowl, and not on that pitch where they train. I don't know what you think about this.
It's not. I don't think it's a difficult thing to work out. That symbiotic relationship. Let me use that word. If there's that symbiotic relationship, it's not something that is going to be difficult. And mark you, one challenge I want to give Kwara United is, if they do very well like they did last season, and they qualify for CAF, Confederation Cup or CAF or the main CAF league, it will be a different ball game. because I want to believe that part of the undoing they had last season was that they played their home away from home.
Yeah,
now that they actually the arena is being put, into good shape, and when CAF comes visiting, I know that place will be approved. And if they do very well this year, we might be able to play our CAF Confederation Cup matches here in Ilorin. And with the massive support of our people, the sky will be the limit.
Federation Cup champions, don't you think that the League 30 is also, isn't beyond reach as well?
Of course, why not? They can fight tooth and nail to up the ante and be among the top finishers, of the league. It has not slipped off their fingers, and I know that if they are able to win their remaining home and perhaps some away matches and even draw some away matches, they'll be among the best three.
How difficult is the MPFL?
The MPFL, well, let me just say that is, for me, under Elegbeleye, the MPFL is improving by the day. In the past in Nigeria, in fact it is almost impossible for you to tell a story, of a team losing at home. But it's happening in MPFL.
Yeah.
Under Elegbeleye, many teams have lost their matches at home, and heavens did not fall. Then under this dispensation, we have been able to see some level of sanity in, there may be some patches of some misbehavior by some fans, but we have been able to see some level of sanity in crowd control and crowd behavior, so that people are being able to have value for the money they invest in watching some of these matches. The rate of hooliganism has died down, considerably, and the supporters of various clubs, they know that with the level of the MPFL right now, it is very possible for you to lose at home.
Very, very possible.
Yeah.
So
there's been remarkable improvement. But what I've just clamored for more is a real-time TV show of some of these matches live.
At least we have matches streamed live via Propel Sport Africa. It was on TV last year, start time and all.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not doing publicity right now, but then I don't know why he just left off TV.
They should enter into agreement again, and let's see the matches coming live, because these are some of the motivating factors for some of these players. When they know that their fans are even watching them live, they'll be encouraged, they'll be encouraged to do more. And I want to particularly thank the management of Kwara United for what they did this season in making sure that some of the away matches of Kwara United are being watched here in Ilorin. With that arrangement they made.
Watch party.
The watch party.
Courtesy of the SSA.
No,
right?
It's a fantastic one.
Yeah, of course, matches went down yesterday in the NNL. Let's quickly get you up to speed with what happened right there. Gateway United, they were held by 1-0 draw by Smart City. Inter Lagos defeated Idel 2-0. Sunshine Stars, I beg your pardon, were 1-0 winners over Crown FC. Atlan of Owerri, they drew with Beyond Limit goalless. That was today. Match will go down. Yes, it will be Sporting Lagos will take on Solution FC. Stormers FC as well will take on Abakaliki FC. In the Conference B, Osun United, 2-2 draw against Gospel Akpabio. Rovers FC lost at home to Aqua United 2-0. That one ended right there in Calabar. The standing right now in the Conference A, Inter Lagos lead the pack there with 16 points, followed by Beyond Limit with 15 points. Crown FC of Ogbomoso 13 points on the log. In bottom table in Group A is Dakada, who withdrawn from the log from the league, and then Gateway FC as well as Smart City are swimming right there in the relegation waters. In Group B, Aqua United lead the pack after 9 games. Sporting Lagos plays today. Let's see if they can get a win and then push Aqua United. Aqua United leads the pack there in Conference B with 19 points. Sporting Lagos 16. Second position. Abakaliki FC 15 points. Yes, they are third on the log with 15 points. They got relegated last year and then bought slots and they are back. Talking about Abakaliki FC. Matches went down in Europe as well. Let's quickly, feed you with some of the results of games that went down yesterday in the FA Cup. Chelsea's coach Liam Rossonell began with an emphatic 5-1 win over Charlton Town. Yeah. So your Chelsea 5-1 win. Good way to start.
It is a good way to start the under the leadership of Liam Rossonell, and I feel that's not actually a test for him because it is almost a win without even kicking the ball yet for Chelsea, because it is quite expected of Chelsea to win that match. So let's see what Chelsea have, what the manager has in balls for us against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup first leg. So whatever the manager has in ball for us will determine, okay, is this manager ready for the job yet or not? Let's see the result against Arsenal. That will be the first test for him. I believe that will be the first test for him, because the game against Charlton is not a test yet.
What would this is not a test? At least he played 90 minutes.
Yeah, but it's actually a win without kicking the ball, because it is expected for Chelsea to win the game without even kicking the ball yet. Even the goal they considered is not something I expected of, but still it is football.
Alright, Manchester City 10-1 winners over Exeter.
That's a mascot, because and Manchester City new signing Anthony Semenyo even got a goal and assist and won the man of the match in that game, and that shows that Manchester City is ready, and Arsenal should watch their back.
Arsenal should watch their back in terms of pursuing for the Premier League title.
Yes,
they drew against Liverpool.
Yes,
the game I felt they should have won.
Yeah, I think Arsenal should have won the game, but still I don't think Arsenal is ready, because in the first half of the game against Liverpool, Arsenal was dominated entirely the whole game, but coming outside in the second half, Liverpool, it feels like Arsenal was given the first half to play, while Liverpool used the first half to look at Arsenal's strength and how to come into the game. That's what I think Liverpool do in that game. Alright,
that's from the FA Cup, English FA Cup matches that went down yesterday. Yes, of course. Yes, yeah, that's Blackpool, Luton Town 4, yes, Forest 3. Okay, he's looking at all the result right here. Derby County 1-0 winners over Leeds United. Leicester City, like I said earlier, they suffered the beating of their life in the hands of Manchester City. Match if we go on today, Arsenal is playing today.
Yeah, Arsenal is playing, Manchester United is playing also today.
Okay.
I think Manchester United is playing against Brighton today, and I feel it is actually a tough test for Darren Fletcher, with him dropping points against Burnley in his first game as the interim manager of Manchester United. So I feel it to be a very tough one for them, to be very sincere, for Manchester United, without a manager yet.
Oh, okay. Manchester Ipswich Town 2, Blackpool 1, Doncaster 2, Southampton 3, Burnley 5, Millwall 1, Bournemouth Wood 0, Bolton 5, Wolves 6, Shrewsbury 1, Macclesfield 2, Crystal Palace 1. Crystal Palace knocked out there. Everton 1, Sunderland 1. Sunderland won via penalties 3-0. That is it for the FA Cup fixtures. Result right there. Matches will go down today across Europe as well. Let's quickly look at some fixtures. In Germany, we have Mönchengladbach are taking on Augsburg. Bayern München will take on Wolfsburg. In Italy, let's say currently it is 1-1 between Parma right there. Fiorentina will take on AC Milan. Verona will take on Lazio. Inter and Napoli will do battle. We hear that Inter are tracking Super Eagles defender Calvin Bassey. Yes, they are looking to get the Nigerian on their radar this summer, this winter. It will be a good signing for Bassey.
I think Bassey should be on the radar of mostly all top clubs in Premier League. So right now, Basi would fit in any of the big six in the Premier League. No, I see him starting for any of the big six in the Premier League this season. The only team I feel will definitely be getting issue with is Arsenal with Gabriel Magalhaes on that part for Arsenal. But any of the remaining big five clubs in the Premier League, Basi will go into that team and start a game because he has been exceptional. One of the best strikers in the world, Eli Hala said, Basi is so strong. He doesn't joke around with his defense. He doesn't play. He's always business.
Yeah, of course, the spark of finance, Saudi Arabia, Real Madrid, Barcelona,
I feel
the last Clasico Madrid won.
Yeah,
but this is the final.
Yeah, the last Clasico Madrid won, but this will be a very tough one for Madrid because Barcelona is currently on.
Mbappe is ready for this one.
Yeah, he's ready, but he's just coming back from injury. That will be a setback also. And Rodrigo is also doubtful for this final. And we see Barcelona in the last 5 games haven't conceded, winning all their whole 5 games. Even in their last game against Athletic Bilbao, Lamine Yamal didn't start the game. Barcelona win 4-0 against Spain #1 goalkeeper, which was Athletic Bilbao goalkeeper, and they scored 4 goals in the first half. That shows that Barcelona is not. They are ready. Ever since Chelsea defeated them, they have been
they've been on fire.
They have been on fire, and but we can't write off Real Madrid. Real Madrid is a tough side. We know Vinicius Junior can turn up in the blink of an eye, and we know
we also know what Mbappe can do as well.
Mbappe can do, and Jude Bellingham is also there. Real Madrid are also studied, but you know they are not at that level where Barcelona is at this moment. But yeah, it is.
What level? Maybe there's no time to ask what level Barcelona. So what's your prediction?
I feel I'll definitely support Madrid. I don't. I'll never support Barcelona.
All right, the legend. Thank you very much for coming around.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would say my final word that sports under Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, a man I describe as somebody who talks little, who speaks easy, but acts big when the need arises, has taken a very big leap into the future.
Thank you some other times. We hope that you oblige us whenever we call upon you again.
It's nice to be here to see Emirate bringing it along into the world.
Yeah, we are the voice of the people.
Thank you.
Additional, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I would love to see you. Maybe next week we'll discuss better on the attack session.
Of course. Thank you, listener, for joining us on the show today, the Parliament, right here on Emirate 98.5 FM. Thank you to the legend who made it a date with us. Despite the short notice, and then he was able to come out and then made the show colorful. Thank you. Sports Parliament returns next Sunday, next week Sunday, same time from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and of course on Monday to Thursday it is a game on 4:30 to 5 p.m. and of course Sport Express on Saturday 12:15 to 1 p.m. Tosh Michaels is my name, the anointed voice on radio. The apostle always bring you the gospel according to sport. Do offer yourself a pleasant Sunday afternoon and then stay away from trouble and enjoy the best of your weekend. Bye bye.
Wow.